My wife told me she was riding her motorcycle and couldn't text because she had to slam on the brakes, so I drove to her favorite bar and put my hand on her bike's exhaust, and it was cold. Posted by you/Ok-Molasses-7486. I, 35M, and my wife, 35F, have been married for 7 years and together for 10. We are both avid motorcyclists and spend quite a bit of time riding, although often separately. She prefers to go out riding late at night on the weekends and for a while got in the habit of not checking in with me. I imagine any husband whose wife is out on a bike at midnight would worry and has every right to ask where she might be. We got into a lot of fights about this, and it seemed very difficult for her to want to keep her whereabouts known. She claimed I was smothering her and being excessively needy by having to know where she was at all the time. We worked through it, but I was never really content with how she begrudgingly followed suit like it was some kind of a chore to keep me posted about where she was and when she might be home. I brought this up in therapy, and even our therapist raised her eyebrow at the late night rides with no check-in. Still, my wife never seemed to see the problem. Fast forward to a few weekends ago. My wife was out riding and it was getting late again. I sent her a message asking if she was getting dinner while she was out. She responded with a simple "Yeah, I'm good, thank you, love you." I was kind of hoping she'd give me a little more detail as it was getting dark out. Some time passed and I responded by saying "Sweet. I'm gonna be home for the night. What you up to?" I didn't get a reply, so I followed up with "I really dislike when you don't care to tell me what you're doing out on a Friday night." Maybe this was a little forward of me, but she knows how frustrated I get in this situation we've dealt with so many times in the past. This made her very upset, and we ended up text arguing. She then gave me a till and said she was going to keep riding her bike. Naturally, I kept texting. After a few messages she responded by saying "I'm trying to drive my dang bike and you are blowing up my phone with this, which is uncalled for. I don't breathe down your neck asking your every move and respect and trust you. Please do the same, it's exhausting." I had a hunch she was not riding. Maybe what I did next was uncalled for, but I drove over to her favorite late night eatery or bar and walked inside. She was sitting at the bar. Her bike was parked outside and I put my hand on the exhaust. It was cold. Less than 10 minutes had passed since she told me she had to slam on the brakes to respond to my messages. There just was no way an exhaust can cool down that quick. Once again, maybe I crossed the line here, but I felt severely betrayed. I went home not long after I sent a quick message that I knew where she was. We argued about this big time. We made amends and she told me that she would be better about checking in with me in the future. That's not the white lie though, but simply a precursor. Up next is the real issue I'm dealing with. This past weekend she was out at a local cafe or bar doing some work. She was being really good about checking in with me, but it kind of festered out as the night progressed. She told me she was going to go over to her office to finish some work, and that was the last I heard of her. I was heading home for the night after a late gym sesh and called her to check in. She did not answer after the first call and called me back a few minutes later. While we were chatting I could hear others in the background. She was also talking kind of weird. After a minute or so she told me she was getting a call and had to pick it up right away. I kind of understood as the importance of that call was something that affected both of us. We are in the process of buying a new home, and the seller's agent was calling. I was expecting a call back with some news, but the call was never returned. An hour had passed, so I called her back to see what she had learned about our offer. She didn't answer but responded with a text, "Call you in a few." When she called back I could tell she was in her car. She started telling me all about what she had learned and how long of a conversation it was. How she also called our lender to check some numbers. It really didn't add up, and I was sensing some plot holes. I asked, "Where were you when I called?" She said, "Well, I'm driving now." "I pulled over to talk to the seller's agent," I said. "If you pulled over to talk to him,